I'd like to talk about how non-formal learning is validated in New Zealand. There are two approaches. The first is that education organisations will take the work experience of learners and give some credit towards a formal qualification. It may be for the entry criteria, it could be credit for a course, or it could even be credit for an entire program. The second way in which non-formal learning is validated is through our industry training system. And this is a system where employees will undertake a formal qualification, but they will do that in the workplace. And the employer will monitor that the employee has achieved all of the competencies against the learning outcomes of a qualification. And the qualification that they achieve will be the same qualification as a learner would do in an education organisation. So the employee's work experience ends up getting validated and is integrated into the formal qualifications system.
I can see tremendous parallels and similarities between Canada and other partners that are here at the Cedefop conference. And many of the challenges that we have, other practitioners have as well, and it's very interesting to see issues around public policy and advising and of course assessment. So validation in Canada is a decentralized process. So we have many very interesting activities and programs going on in the provinces and territories. It's also a very diverse community. So from one perspective, it's challenging to get metrics on how many assessments are done and the effects of validation on people's lives. On the other hand, it provides an opportunity for many facets of recognition and validation to take place across sectors. It's a very complex and decentralized process that we have, but in many ways it lends itself to creativity and innovation.
In Sweden, the recent developments on the labor market, including big immigration and also a lack of skilled labor, has made validation a political priority. And with many different initiatives being carried out at the same time by many different actors in different sectors, there's also a need for coordination and strategic developments, and that's what we are trying to do in our delegation with the different social partners and authorities included.
Poland is in a great need of improving its validation systems and possibilities for validation because Polish people don't learn today. Those with low qualifications, with poor health, with older ages, those that live in rural areas don't see the need to learn. They have also difficulties in accessing lifelong learning and validation. The new qualification system in Poland that was established in January this year allows for validation of skills regardless of the way how people learn. So we do believe that this change in the legislation will lead into a better access and recognition of validation. That also means that we need to support various stakeholders and institutions in order to build the proper validation system in Poland, and that's ahead of us.
I think that France has been really a pioneer in this field for many years, and that we can find that in the recommendation of 2012, many of the features of our French validation system of validation. I came here at this conference to explain how our system has changed, as what evolution it has had since 2002, and especially how we are trying to bring more people to validation. So what kind of measures, what laws have helped developing the validation, our validation system.
One of the flagship programs in our institute is on the recognition, validation and accreditation of non-formal and formal learning. And we've been very active in this field because there is a great demand in the global context. We started with establishing the UNESCO guidelines for recognition, validation and accreditation in non-formal and formal learning, and they have been very, very popular in the globally, and they're very simplified ways telling you how to establish and what is the relevance of recognition across different member states of UNESCO. We are also involved in linking the issue of validation with national qualifications frameworks, and in this we are very much in partnership with Cedefop regarding the global inventory of regional and national qualification frameworks. Another project is that we are doing a lot of themes on validation. For example, we're working on the building recognition mechanisms for Syrian refugees in Jordan, Lebanon, in Egypt, Iraq and Turkey, and we are also now doing a comparative study on recognizing green skills in small enterprises. For us, this conference has been a real asset and we've learned a lot from it. We learn a lot from Cedefop because we find that Cedefop is a forerunner in making a national strategy on validation in the European context. So we learn a lot from the good practices that Cedefop has documented in its inventory and which it updates every 2 years.